Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first edition of Legacy Matters Live with our featured guests this evening. This dynamic duo, the proud owners of the B12 stores chain, now located in multiple high traffic malls in the Tri County area here in South Florida. Their bold partnerships with heavyweight management groups like the Westfield Management Company, the Simmons Group of Sawgrass Mills, and Aventura Mall. As their work continues and health is an important topic, expect new locations coming soon near you. This dynamic couple, this powerful couple, is defying the odds in these uncertain times and not only surviving, but they're truly thriving history in the worst pandemic and current economic crisis. Let me introduce you to the owners of the B12 store right here in the beautiful city of Plantation, Westfield Broward Mall. I'd like to introduce you once again to Mr. and Mrs. Andy Kathy Jean. Welcome tonight, Mr. Andy and Kathy Jean.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Glenn. Thank you. Good evening. How's everyone doing?
I'm pretty good. Are we live on your page, Miss Kathy?
Yes, we are, Glenn.
Okay, perfect.
I can see it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, tonight we are going to have some good talk right here because I know you two are two powerhouses right here in the sunny South Florida region. And I can't wait to get to know more about you guys and share you with the world. So let's start off with Miss Kathy Jean, first of all. Kathy, tell me about yourself. How did you come about to being to where you are today?
Glenn, so in a summary, you're asking who is everyone looking at? Okay, like you said, my name is Kathy Jean, and I am a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman in the community. I am a mother, and I'm also a wife. And I run multiple business between my husband and I. My background is I started in accounting, and after 15 years being sitting behind the desk, which I love my profession, I told my husband I need a change. I'm always helping other people, but I wanted to do it now. I wanted to switch into health and wellness, which is basically now I can say me and my husband and I, we are the proud owner of a B12 store located inside the Westfield Broward Mall.
Awesome, awesome. And how about Mr. Gene? What is your background in, sir? I know Miss Kathy is accounting. What was your background in?
Thanks for asking, Glenn. Thanks for asking. Well, first and foremost, thank you for such a beautiful introduction. And, we're excited to be a part of this platform. Just being here, we've been in Miami for a very long time. I would say over maybe about 2 decades. And that sounds like a lot, but it seemed like it went pretty fast. But what I am is, I'm an entrepreneur. I've always had a passion for business. I've always had a passion for independence and self-sustaining for yourself. Now, when Kathy and I, when we first started in business, we started from the ground level. It was just an idea that we launched and we put forth. And over a period of time after nurturing, and one of the foundations of how we do business is we brand it on truth. And when you
Yes.
build a business on truth, and you have a high level of what we call dealing with your customers, dealing with your team, then God can truly bless you and allow your business to flourish and allow people to continue coming back and use you for their services. So that's pretty much my background. I like business.
You love business. So you've always been a businessman, driving your business. So when your wife transitioned into that area, you was ready for it. In a sense.
Excuse me, I didn't hear the question.
No, I was saying since you've all been in business, I'm sure now that when your wife went transition, it was an easy one for you.
Um, well, wow. The transition was what it was. I mean, the thing about transitions, sometimes, it's the reason why you transition, right? Sometimes if you're in a particular business or industry, You tend to, after a while, I don't want to use the word say get bored, but you can actually get burnt out, because with success also comes more responsibilities, also comes with, depending on the type of business, if it's an infrastructure, that infrastructure starts to get bigger, and sometimes the responsibilities can increase. And the one thing a lot of business owners, talk about a lot is your liability also
Mhm.
increases, and that's something you want to shy away from, because that right there could be the defining factor of your business. So
Yes.
yeah, so transitioning wasn't difficult; it was more so needed. And Kathy herself, she was, like I said, burnt out. She was working extremely long hours at the office, sometimes from 8 a.m. till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, pushing a lot of paperwork, and I saw the stress that it put on her. So we decided, you know what? Let's at least venture out and look into something else. Glenn.
So you made some good things right there. So one of the questions we had that a lot of entrepreneurs are facing right now is what are the lessons to be learned through this transition? I mean, what failures do you see? What success do you go through? And how do you live through the failures, especially now during the COVID-19 season? Because this is a tough time for everyone. Major companies are closing down, people are losing their jobs, people are trying to transition now into entrepreneurship and figure out uncharted waters. What advice do you have for them?
Well, the advice I have for most people, and I've said in previous interviews that I've had with different magazines, different publications, is that this is a wake up call for most people. So first and foremost, you have to wake up, identify what's really happening, before you can adapt and make a change. And I think this is the moment of truth. This is what we call come Jesus moment for a lot of business owners, for a lot of people who basically dedicated their lives and their entire what I call an education investment into a career.
Hmm.
So now people are having to look into those careers and see that all that money and all those loans and all those time and dedication, can they truly survive in the new world? So I would say that my advice to them is to first wake up and identify that the world is has changed. This pandemic didn't make it any easier. If anything, it pretty much allowed it accelerated this process.
True, true. How about you, Miss Kathy? What do you think about that? You're muted?
Yes, sorry about that.
That's good.
Okay, Glenn. The lesson in the transition. Oh my God, the transition. It was not too hard for me because I was ready for it, but it was challenging, and I was ready for the challenge. I wanted something different. So that was my lesson within this transition. I was hungry for something different. I was in one field for a while, got burnt out, wanted a breath of fresh air. So my advice to anyone is to always follow your heart. Do not object yourself to something just because. And also, a lot of us didn't have a plan B. Now everyone is looking for a plan B. Everyone must have a plan B and C because we are actually living, witnessing a transition, something different, a new era is about to introduce itself. And we are the group that's actually going through that transition. And it's going fast. Technology is taking over, Glenn. And what I will tell everybody is anyone that's listening, the lesson is to stay focused and follow your dreams. And then you unstoppable. As long as you're hungry, do you really want it? You also have to ask yourself that question. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be successful? How bad do you want to change your circle? How ready are you for the next level to elevate yourself? Once you have that mindset and you set your goals, the lessons in the transition will not be too crazy. But always in business, I always tell everyone and everyone that I work with or I talk to, embrace for impact. 2020 is not I don't want to say a crazy year, but it's been good to me and my team. And I pray God for that every day. But I know that blessing or the way I position myself, I know not everybody's going through it. So that's why we here tonight, Glenn. We need to speak to the people and let them know they all need a plan B.
Excellent. I actually agree with that portion because I heard this just recently. I was listening to Les Brown, and he made a comment that was to me earth shaking because, and when I thought about it, it made so much sense. He says we are no longer in a brick and mortar world. We're now in the click and order world.
Yes.
Everything has transitioned. You can see these major. First of all, years ago it was Sears and Macy's, but now these major stores are shutting down. Just recently, another store, Men's Warehouse, they're shaking their boots up because they're about to close down and file bankruptcy because no one is buying suits anymore because businesses are closed down. No one's going outside in suits now. They're home in casual wear. They're now calling this the casualization world. Everyone's in casual sneakers and shoes, home, relaxing, behind a computer, working and earning income, or trying to start now. How do I be an entrepreneur and put things together? I wouldn't say we are behind the schedule, but we need to catch up now before it's too late. Because to me, the wheel is going pretty fast. Jump on the bus now, because once time 2020 is ended, we don't know what 2021 has in store for us.
Exactly. And we all have to position ourselves so 2021 will be better than 2020.
Exactly. Now, I remember when I first met you, and I told you the theme was "Be Relentless." I had a hard time fighting that theme since last year, since the Legacy Conference of last year. And when I heard "Be Relentless" and I told it to you, you said, "Uh-huh, I like that theme." What is it so big on you, too? The phrase "Be Relentless" between the both of you. What does "Be Relentless" really mean to you both during this time and season?
You want to take that, Andy, or me?
Anyone?
Be, be relentless. When you said be relentless to me the first time, my first thought was be fearless, be shameless. Because in business, you have to have the audacity of success.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
have to be fearless in order for you to pierce. And you have to be shameless in order for you to make it. That was what came in my head. And that's when we had that first conversation, Glenn, I'm riding with you. I'm gonna be part of your network. Let's work together.
Yes, yes. Because when I heard that "Be Relentless," I was fighting it because I had my own agenda. You know, we have your own agenda, but God says no, switch back this way, and we kept fighting it. And when COVID-19 came out, officially made as landmark here in the U.S. and even before in outside the country, I began to realize that the travesty was taking place. Lives were being lost. Families were being shaken up in many different directions. First, economically, financially, socially, any way possible. People are losing left, right, and center. And now is a time where people are starting to lose hope. Suicide's on the rise, depression on the rise, unemployment is skyrocketing. Might as well just call it, I don't know what to say at this point. But we need to really be relentless in order to keep our minds on track because I've been told many times, and people don't seem to understand, the mind is a powerful tool. And if it's wasted, it can never be brought back. We have to remain focused. We can't lose track. We can't fall off the bandwagon for too long. You got to get back on and push forward because, as you said, Kathy, if we got to be relentless, it means fearless. No quitting, not giving up. Andy, in your business ventures that you've done through the years, what are some of the failures you've actually experienced and how did you make it out of it?
Oh wow. I think that's a very very common question, but also one of the realest questions that anyone can ask a business owner is I think before I even tell you specifics, I also feel that the foundation of your success is founded on failure. You know, because the failures are the blueprints to what not to do the next go around. Okay,
Mhm.
and I clearly said the next go around, which means before you can get into a space where you are successful in business and you're able to get at the highest level, then you better believe you have to go through some hardships, right? Some failures, like you said, Glenn. And you know, in my I would say my career or in my pursuit of happiness through entrepreneurship and business, you know, I've had multiple failures. I've tried car rental businesses. I realized that you know, liability in cars and renting vehicles to young people is a big liability. You know, we've tried, you know, different ventures. We tried. I remember one time, Kathy and I, we spent some money into a ad business. You know, buying these little TVs that you can put inside of businesses to advertise. And it was just, and when we did that, we were just entering the digital space where we had about 200 screens just sitting in our garage because the world went digital. So what that did was give us a glimpse of where the future, where the world was going. So I would say, you know, from those failures, we definitely decided to approach things much differently. One of the things that we do a lot is we study the markets, and we also follow the money. You know, there's a saying, Robert Kiyosaki says, the trend is your friend. Sometimes you have to find out what the latest trend is. You have to find out what people are doing, what they're open to doing, because everything starts somewhere. Everything that's cool, everything that's common, everything that we do day to day started somewhere. We had to go to the comfort level in order to make it our norm, just like what's happening right now. Kathy mentioned earlier that the world is completely different. You know, everybody had to go back to the drawing board and kind of scratch this off, and because and all of our business plans and all of our you know, our vision of how the our success would look did not include mask. You know, so so we had to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, you know what, we got to switch it up. Doesn't mean we gave up. We just had to switch it up. So definitely failures is good, but you just have to learn from them. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome. Now, back on that topic, let's say on that, I've heard a lot of businessmen, business owners say this thing. You have to know when you've failed in a business era to leave it. Because sometimes we keep trying back the same thing over and over. We fail the first time, we try the exact same thing again. So, in your experience, when do you know when it's time to actually walk away and throw in a towel on a business concept?
That's a really good question, Glenn. I think the common mistake business owners make is that they 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 never built a business. A, to sell it, and B, they never try to scale the business. See, when you build a business, you need to have a scale. You have to have an idea of what it being successful look like. So if you have a projection, let's say you have a 2 to 3 year plan, and you know obviously you have some sort of a projection that says, okay, the first 3 to 6 months, I'm in this, and you know I have to deal with this, and that in terms of expenses, in terms of time, in terms of resources. And as you're building, you should be able to watch and see that it's scaling. It could be a home-based business. It could be selling lemonade. It could be a food truck. It could be whatever. You should know if you're going in the right direction. Now, if you are doing something and you're not making a profit over a period of time, then it's not a business, it's a hobby, you know? So you should know that either you're now you have folks who are very, I would say, passionate and attached about things because they didn't really go into it in a business perspective. Is more so something that perhaps grasped their attention, and they just wanted to do something, right? And they will just go at it and probably, you know, sell the farm. You know, I know that's an old saying, just to pour into this business venture and later on just to realize that it was a bad investment. So yeah, you have to have a projection to scale or a projection to sell. And usually within the first trimester of your business, you should have an idea if you should sell or sell.
One of the questions I actually received before tonight's live was this: I want to start a business, my own business, entrepreneur. What's some of the steps I should take to start it to make sure I'm doing the right business type model or even making a mark in the industry? What's the first thing I should do? What's the first step should take place? What should my brainstorming think about? What should I be doing?
Well,
that
well,
question?
first of all, you wanna find an industry that you are comfortable doing. Because that's the first thing. If you wake up in the morning and you don't like what you do, then you'll never be successful. So you have to first identify what it is you want to get into. Like I'll give you a good example. Some people don't like sales. They don't get into sales. You know, some people like to be on the go. Some people don't. So when choosing what you're doing, you want to make sure you identify that this is something that works with you, something that, like I said, you can wake up in the morning and do every single day. But as far as the type of business, I feel that there's so many different businesses out there. There's so many different ventures out there. You just have to be comfortable with what you do. I think that's the first step, and then you can start building a business plan, and you can start, of course, doing some research on the industry, because I don't believe in doing anything premature. Right? It's that's key. That's key. It goes back to the foundation, right? And the foundation is building and perhaps making mistakes and learning from those mistakes and fixing those mistakes and just continue going. Yeah.
And then the question that follows up behind that, before I go to Kathy, is when do you really know? Okay, I've already done that. I've failed a few times in the business, and my friends and family are discouraging me, and they're telling me that I should quit. When do you actually know? When what is the point that tells you this is the point to break it and walk away from the business, or ignore the noise and keep going towards the price?
Oh wow. Well, the thing is, you never quit. I don't think whatever you do, you quit. You really don't quit. I think it also goes back to learning from the mistake factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you quit, you would have never made the mistake to begin with to learn from, right? So I think we live in a society where we just can't allow people to dictate and determine what our success story is going to be. I mean, we're the architect and the writers of our own destiny in so many different ways. So I think people can also be naysayers, but they're also spectators as well. That's what they are. They're spectators, and not to say they're not important in your big picture, but of course you choose what energy you bring in and what energy you put out. Just be selective about who you listen
Awesome.
to.
So Kathy, as a black woman entrepreneur in the United States of America during these times, what what advice would you give a woman that's looking to start a business as a black African American woman? What do you advise her? What advice would you give her?
My first advice to a young Black African American woman that's want to start her own business. First, baby girl, you got to get your mind right. That's the first thing. You got to get your mind right. Then you got to seek counsel, because you always need someone that knows more than you or that's more advanced than you to ask questions in order for you to know the right direction where to go. Second, you got to take your time and do your research about the field and the industry that you are about to enter or take over. And best of all, what I want to tell this person is find your passion. Okay, find your passion and market your why. Because a lot of time, like AJ said earlier, we mistake activity for productivity. Okay, because when you do an activity, it's your hobby. A lot of time, your hobby cannot feed you. Your hobby cannot get you where you want to be. Yes, you have the dream. Yes, you have the drive, but that hobby, that thing, or that stuff you're doing, that production or whatever it is not working to your current market niche. So you got to switch it up a bit. That's what I said. Seek counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to know how to switch and when to switch with the market. And the other part is, what's your purpose? Find your purpose in life. Okay, create your own purpose, because like my husband said earlier, we are all our own architect of our lives. What's your purpose? Your purpose should create your passion. Once you find your purpose, you need to find your why, which is your passion. And if you, I'm letting you know that anyone who's listening to me right now, if your passion don't make you cry, you have not find your passion yet. Because every time you have to find what you do every time you wake up in the morning, that should be your drive. What you do should be your motivation. It could be you choose a family member or someone who said you'll never make it. We have that. Or you just have your own, you hungry enough in life, you want more. Like me, I would say my own experience. I am from Haiti, one of the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. My goal when I came, when my dad brought us in the USA, is I don't want to go back the same way I left my country. I am here in the United States of America, the land of opportunity. First, when I came here, I got my mind right, like I said. Second, I had to find my purpose. Once I find my purpose, it developed my passion. Once I found out my passion, I had to find a way to make it profitable. And that's when you become unstoppable. Once you can make your passion become profitable and you start cashing out, honey, you are officially an entrepreneur and the sky is the limit.
Man, you just shook up the world with that one. Mr. Gene, you got a powerhouse next
Hey,
to you.
listen, I'm taking notes. Listen,
I know,
I'm
I
taking
know.
notes.
I'm recording this, but then I say it's already been done for live. But this, she, man, you got a powerhouse wife right there. She keep you in check.
Absolutely.
That's a
Yep.
good thing.
And everybody
Thank
else
you,
around
Ben.
me.
Now, you guys are the proud owners of the B12 store. Tell us about what exactly is the B12 store and its brand.
Well, I'll jump in. The B12 stores is a holistic and alternative hub for vitamin injectables, IV hydration, which we call IV fusion. We also have added a new, very popular, very trendy products, which is the detox line. So we have these three very essential services at the B12 stores, located only inside of malls in the country, or mostly here in the Tri-County area, in Palm Beach, Dade County, Broward County. We're on the west coast of Florida. We do have one or two stores I think in Georgia, Wisconsin, and we're just tapping into think we just opened one in Vegas, and we also have Texas as well. So in total, there's about 30 stores um, out here, 30 stores located inside of malls. And what the B12 stores has become, it's become the one-stop shop for better health. You know, and one may say, well, how simple is that? Well, it's simple, right? We were accustomed to going to major vitamin stores. I won't mention any names. Some of them are actually going out of business now because folks are basically tired of popping pills and certain style and drinking these things that really doesn't do anything for them. You understand? So now folks are getting into this space where they're looking for all natural, they're looking for holistic, and one of the things I like to make clear about the B12 stores, it's a medical office. It's not a med spa. It's not just a concept. It's a medical office where we specialize in vitamin injectables, IV fusion hydration, and now detox. So, people have been coming to these type of stores for many years. But the cost very much, out there. So it's a special class of people that can afford some of these FDA natural or medical grade products. So God has blessed us tremendously where we've built some serious partnership with some major manufacturers in the pharmacy world that allows us access to have some of the best vitamin injectables. Now, one thing I want to make clear is when we first started, we were considered a luxury service, right, for those who can afford it. But after the pandemic, we were deemed as an essential service because we were our business just skyrocketed. It's just skyrocketed. Um, where now people are seeking us out. They're seeking our services. They're seeking our products because it's giving them a fighting chance against the current crisis that's going on in the world without making medical claims, of
Well, I've actually been to your store at least two or three times, and I was able to get the injection, the B12, and the vitamin C, and I've also tried the tea. It's a wondrous thing. I do love it. I
course.
haven't tried the coffee yet because I'm not a coffee drinker. So if you had hot chocolate, I might just try the hot chocolate, but you ain't got that yet. So for
Check
the
this
for the
out.
non-coffee drinkers, that's what's gonna happen.
This is the famous CBD.
E-coffee.
So we'll talk about that another time. But
Yes, yes. I had to put that in because it's been a blessing so far using the products.
well,
Now,
I appreciate that.
I remembered when we first met, there was a discussion about a passion in your household for legacy, and that you even built a legacy through, I believe, your daughter, with when you opened a technology company for financial services that your daughter is working with, and then you had a situation where your son went to a coding camp. Tell us more about those two entities that you've been working on so well.
Well, thanks for asking, Glenn. I really appreciate it. As you can see, I like the theme. It says legacy matters, and it absolutely does matter. In the last, I would say decade or so, something that my family and I have done is we've championed excellence. So in order to champion excellence, and when I use the word excellence, we're not saying that, we're walking out there with perfection, or we're without sin, or we're just, saints. It's more so just giving ourselves a glimpse of doing something different. Also being inclusive in our community. So, my son, who's 16 years old now, at the time he was, I think, 12 years old, but he started coding and show interest in gaming, and all kids show interest in video games, right? But I noticed outside of the video games, he had a passion for coding. He would go into these various websites, and he would, play a lot of Minecraft. He would play a lot of these very strategic, very technologically savvy games, and I started to pay attention to that. And there's this program that was sponsored by a German university that partnered up with Nova University here in Davie, Florida. And there was a special program, so they were looking for students to be a part of that program. So, and I, took my chances. I applied for it. I think they only accepted maybe 8 students out of 200 applicants. And, my son happened to be one of those who was accepted. So I was excited about that, but I really didn't know what to expect. And really, to fast forward, in that school, we met we met a young lady who was actually in charge of the school by the name of Bridget Guerrero. She reached out to me and said, Mr. Andy, I noticed your son not only he loves and has a passion for this technology stuff. Obviously, he's flying drones all over the place, just robots, and they're coding video games and stuff. So, and she said, no, I think there's something special here. I think you should definitely push this a little bit more than just making it something he's testing out. So, what that did for me and Kathy and our kids, also, my daughter, she always had a passion for business. So we took business, we took technology, we put it together. Like, well, why don't we get involved in some, because we own a technology company, believe it or not, but not at this level, not drones, not coding. We're talking about just basic software stuff, right? So, so after meeting um, Bridget was the one that really inspired us to move forward and say, hey, you know what? Put him more into coding. And there's a school called Code Ninjas. I think there's a bunch of them all over the country, and they specialize in coding and droning and special robotics and different type of technologies. So she started working for that company, and she reached out, and we identified something when we went to the school. Outside of my son being there, I noticed he was the only black kid in the school. And so I further to inquire, why was this so? And what we identify is that a lot of these programs, not the average kid can afford to go to these programs because they can be very expensive. This is cutting edge technology. This is stuff that's not even exposed to the world yet. So we decided, that my son would not be the only black kid in the school. So we decided to form a scholarship called the Level Up Scholarship for African American kids, women, girls, and between the ages of 7 and 14. So that partnership allowed us to afford over, I think, so far about 10 students in areas where they probably couldn't afford the program to now become students of the program, and they're doing extremely well. So that's how we started getting into the legacy, and we honored after my son, who's named Michael Andrew Jean, and we honored after him and our kids. Actually, it's a family scholarship, to be honest with you. It just so happened that Michael Jean was the one who was in that school, and he's the one that's currently mentoring and teaching these kids at the school.
So you started off with a seed by planting him there. He started to flourish. You took him to another level. Then now he's turned into a tree bearing fruits to give back to the same community. So that's truly what we call legacy lives here, because it began in you and all spread to your children. And now he's now making a legacy with his own teenagers around him, teaching them, training them the very thing he learned. Now that is truly awesome. Now I remember you mentioned your daughter in technology. You have a technology company? What type of company?
Well, you want to answer that, Kathy? Unmute.
Ah, yes, Glenn, we do. But we have an accounting software that we distribute nationally, and it's all virtual online for CPAs, enroll agents, tax preparers. They can use the software. They can be in the comfort of their home. They can be anywhere they are in their laptop, and they can have different agents from different state and city under them, different county, and they all can be virtual in one network and see what each other's doing, and that's the software. And it's directly connected with the IRS. We also have our mother's company, and we've been doing it for what, 7 years? And there are 8 years now. We have the software as
So you have a mortgage company, a software technology company, a coding camp, scholarship fund, kind of nonprofit type thing. You got a D12 store. You guys are super ultra serial entrepreneurs.
well. Yes, I'm not gonna say super ultra entrepreneurs, but you know what? That's what legacy is. We're building our legacy. We're building the family legacy. And in order for us to do that, my husband and I, we always, my dream is always for me to work with my kids and my family, and whatever I know, that's basically what we make it our goal. My husband and I, that's our goals with the kids. um, Whatever we know, we make sure that they participate, they are aware. It's always a family decision in the household with them involved. Their opinion matters, or all of our opinion matters, and we basically get them very involved so they can know, and so we can mold them to take over the companies when they ready for the business world. So what we're doing the groundwork for them, getting them involved, get them saturated as they're at their young age, so they can understand and already be a step ahead, because we are in the technology area. We pushing them forward, so we getting them ready for what's to come.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I look at both of you and I'm actually amazed even more. I met you guys before, but now hearing your story and seeing what you guys are shaking and doing in this world right now with your family, your kids, I can only imagine when the grandkids come, they're gonna have a rich legacy to look forward to, knowing that the foundation, the path, the whole trail has been packed for them, so they can walk straight without any trouble, any struggles. Because as I remember, someone told me before, a legacy is something that's tangible, you can touch, see, and feel, but yet oily enough that a person can look at it and see the foundation for them to cross over without any struggle. And that's a beautiful thing to see with you too. So thank you guys for the official sponsors, the platinum sponsors for the Legacy Conference this year. Be Relentless. It's actually a virtual event taking place this year on October 16th and 17th. We will be doing, however, a 2 or 3 days, no, 2 or 3 day free event before the actual launching day. So those who can want to come in and get a sneak peek of what's to take place, we'll definitely be having that then and there. But for you two tonight, we can't wait to see you guys again at the Legacy Conference and also at the B12 store. Don't forget, come get your stuff. Anything you want to say finally before we start tonight, Andy or Kathy?
Well, Glenn, I want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity tonight. Let me start before my husband. Thank you for giving us the opportunity tonight to be here with you on this wonderful platform with amazing audience. We have a few people that are watching us tonight, and I hope the message and the purpose of our meeting tonight can help and elevate someone that's listening to us and motivate someone that's listening to us to take their business endeavors and whatever their dream are, and to be relentless, be fearless, and go out there and get there and do what they are here to do. And Glenn, earlier, I just want to let you know, I'm a woman that walk by faith. I received your blessing earlier. We are growing the legacy. When the grandchildren come, they will be coming in a blessed family, like you said. And one last advice I want to give to anyone who's listening to me today, I want to say, don't worry about being successful, guys, but work towards being significant.
Ah,
And the success will naturally flow. That's the way I'm going to close tonight. And I hope everybody or anyone get this message. I said it quick. I can say it again because I know some people were not waiting for this quote. Don't worry about being successful. Get it right. But work towards being significant and trust in the word, and it will come. The success will come naturally.
I'm on the ground, passed out. I can't even move my legs. That just sounds so rich.
Exactly.
That should be patented and published.
Thank you, Glenn.
Exactly.
Back to
Well,
you.
well, I would like to. I always build off of what Kathy says, because we're so in sync in terms of our mindset and how we think and what it is we're pursuing. Obviously it's a uniform effort, it's a unified effort, what we are doing, and it doesn't come without challenges. It doesn't come without areas where now you almost want to give up in some cases. But what I want to say to folks out there who are watching Facebook land, anybody that we've maybe touched in our organizations and our businesses, we want to let you know that I know this is cliche when we say don't give up. We really mean that because, there's a saying that we say at training, complacency is the enemy of progress. And when you're too complacent, then you never get on the road to progress because you're comfortable because you're okay. You don't convince yourself, like Kathy said earlier. You must have the audacity to say that I can be successful. You have to have the audacity to say, hey, I'm gonna open up that corporation. You must have the audacity to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to fix my credit and buy a new home. You have to have the audacity to say, hey, I'm gonna partner up with people like Glenn and myself and Kathy. When we were in business, we had to have some really good partnerships. And I have a really, really good friend of mine, his name is Jeff, and his wife, Danella Simpson, who actually introduced us to an amazing company whom I want to mention here tonight, that is actually one of the secret sauce and backbone to our success, which is Tava Lifestyle. Tava Lifestyle is a global network right now. Has touched the United States of America, has touched Canada, and I hear, I won't say rumors, but there's information in the mail that says that we're going to be in South America, places like Brazil, Peru, etc. So, this type of partnership goes a long way. And, the owner of the company, I'm very proud to admit, is Mr. Kenny E. Lloyd, who's also a black man, and we're proud to state that he is our CEO. This gentleman here has created over 14, 15 million years in his lifetime in previous companies and previous, so he has what we call a lot of experience under his belt. So these type of partnerships, our partnerships with the malls, like the Simon family, these are not easy companies to into the Westfield Management Group, and we're very excited, Glenn. We didn't mention before, we are looking very promising with the Sawgrass Mills Mall in Sunrise, Florida. So that's a big deal for us, to occupy one of the hardest piece of real estate ever occupied. For us to be in that space, I think is a real blessing. All it does is pretty much solidify and prove having the audacity to say, hey, you know what? I want to be bigger than my competitor. I want to be so big that I don't even remember how much stores we have. I want to be so big where years from now we can have so many young millionaires, so many female millionaires, and I don't say successful. I want to be very specific because I think folks don't they're not specific enough. They would say I want to be successful. What does that look like? No, I want to be rich. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have two homes. I want to have a home and a vacation home. I want to have a boat. I want to have multiple cars. I want to be able to give my friends really nice things. I want to be able to help
Right.
people who are in need. I want to be able to give to charity. I want to be able to donate to causes who uplift voices like myself, like Kathy. We want to be able to do things like that. And in order to do so, we have to have the audacity, not only to want to, but be very specific in our demand or our request to be successful. And it's something I love that my very good friend and my coach, I call him Jeff and Danella, he would say, you know what, if there's something you want out of life, you got to put it on the wall. He says it, you need to write it down and you put it on the wall, and every single day you want to see it. He goes as far as saying, to the women out there, if you can't find a man and you need a man, just put him on the wall. So 'cause that's what you want. So the power of what we call affirmation is huge. It's big. So that's our affirmation. Our affirmation to the world, to our existence, is that we will be very successful, and we're going to help a lot of people along the way, and we're going to work as a group. We're going to work as a collective. We're going to work as a community, and that's what we're hoping to accomplish.
Write the vision, make it plain. Be specific in everything that you want. Don't just say, I want this. Be detailed, like saying, I want a blue car with four rims that this. I just heard one of the highlights for this evening that says this, guys. If you want something, pursue it. One. Two, write it on the wall and make it plain so you can see it every single time you get discouraged. Or every time you wake up in the morning, you see it on the board. I want this, and you're achieving it. And don't just make wishes. I want this, but then don't put no work or action behind. Like Kai said. Kai said you gotta put in the work. Kai said you gotta have a good mind on track. So I am actually just amazed by the last few things you guys have put out tonight. I do thank you once again for being part of Legacy Matters Live. It's not the last. There'll be many more to come, guys, and we are thankful to have the platinum sponsor, the Legacy Conference, here tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. You
Thank
guys are
you very
muted.
much. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Glenn.
Thank you very much, Glenn, for this opportunity. And thank you, everyone, for watching us. For those that stay with us tonight,